Good morning, guys. I'm in my nook. It's nap time for my Wolfie. He's right here by my feet. I'll cut to a video of him because he's so cute. But we actually woke up early and we went down to the river.
What the fuck? Look at all those birds, Wolfie. Rose.
And he got to be off leash because in the mornings nobody's really there. And he got to run. And we got to work on some training. And I have a little fanny pack with treats. And he's a really good boy. But we've been waking up early and going to the parks to set up our day. And then we'll have a little nap time. Just like a little toddler. It's so cute. But I got some dishes done. I had some lunch. And I've just been chilling in here. And it honestly feels really good to like wake up, not really think about anything, and just like get some coffee and then get ready to go. And I have my bag already just packed with my stuff, and it's really simple just to get out of the house. I think it's just realizing that you can break out of that like pattern. Like I don't have to wait till the afternoon to get out of the house. It's actually more cooler in the mornings too because it's getting hot. I'm in my blanket because my AC is on. But I wanted to talk about money and employment and materialistic shit today in my little chat because I have good news. I got a new job and I start on Thursday, so in a couple days. And I've been unemployed for over a year. I live with my mom, so I don't have rent. And there's a lot of payments, like my phone bill. My dad works for a phone company, so that gets covered. And then, like, other little stuff gets covered, and I'm very grateful. And I'm just kind of being transparent because that's kind of the only reason I've been able to not have a job. I do get some money from my art and random money payments from like, I don't know, tax returns and random stuff like that. But I've been unemployed for so effing long. I worked on a movie last year. And I'm going to do a whole video on that because that story time is crazy. And I'm gonna have to put it on my subscription, like paid account, because I don't want everyone to see it, because there's some characters in the story that would not like to see that video out. But it's okay. That's for another video. But going back to the job and the employment. So I did a fashion show a year ago. And I was working on it for like 6 months. And I ended up quitting my job to work on that towards like getting closer up to the actual fashion show. And then I did the fashion show. I got money from that, and then I started looking for jobs, and I just could not find jobs. I was going to interviews. I was applying everywhere. It was bad. I was just like not finding any jobs. Like one after another, I would get rejections, and I just didn't understand. And it was really depressing because I had just had this like fucking peak in my career with the fashion show, and I got a decent amount of money from that, but it was like my ego was like so high up there. I was like, I'm on top of the world, I'm getting money off of my art. This is awesome. And then I enter the workforce or try to enter the workforce, and it didn't work out. I was broke and couldn't pay for anything at all. And all of a sudden my ego is just like plummets. I'm like totally shattered by my worth and the amount of money that I had and the respect that I lost, I guess, and like people's perspective of me, like kind of, I don't know. It was just very drastic. It was a very drastic change. And I just remember like I was dating someone at the time, and like he would kind of help me out with like food. Like he would buy me food and shit, and like that's kind of the only reason I survived that summer. And we just like, we had a good summer, I think. Like we just went to like lake spots and river spots and all that and had a good time. But it was a fucking struggle still. Like I felt dependent as fuck. I did not have the means to travel, to get a new car, to get anything. I was just stuck. And it was crippling, and it really took a toll on my mental health being broke. And I just am on here because it's been over a year, and I've gone through all of the stages of having money, not having money, being broke, looking for jobs, feeling like I'm worthless, feeling like what I'm doing is pointless because it's not getting me money. Like I've just gone through so much of that, and I have kind of gotten through that like self-worth thing. It's hard to explain, but I've been broke for so long. I have detached my worth to the amount of materials and the amount of money I have in my bank account. And even though I have like, sometimes I'll have like cents in my bank account or I'm negative in my account. And it's like I used to like actually feel so bad and have that looming over my head. And I've gotten to the point where I had to accept it. And like obviously I still looked for jobs, and like I don't know, it just made me realize like society only cares about you when you have a job and when you're working and when you're adding something to society that's like can be described in like capitalistic ways. Like I was working really hard on my art the past couple of years, and I just felt like it was pointless because I wasn't getting any money from it. But I was working my ass off, and it was just like such a weird feeling to work so hard and to not get recognition or money from it. And it really just made me like have to blindly trust in myself and in my craft and my art. And also like I wasn't driven by money. I just knew that something was there in my art, and I just had to self-motivate myself for a long time, and I went through a lot of ups and downs, and I obviously so glad I have a job now, and I haven't started yet, but I just wanted to reflect on this time before I go back, and this time that I had to think about this past year of not having a job, and just like remembering that we're all spirits and we're just in a material world. I love that song, by the way, by The Police, but that song came on yesterday, and because I have a job now, I've been on Amazon cart, and like just like I haven't been planning on buying it on Amazon, obviously, fuck Amazon, but I've just been like organizing stuff, like it's almost like a shopping list. But I got addicted and obsessed with it yesterday because I knew I was gonna have money, and that song came on, and I was like, oh my god, like I'm the spirit. I was always the spirit, and I've been the spirit for this past year, like without any of the material shit. And I need to keep that energy. I need to keep that spirit that I have going into the material world and the work world and the capitalistic world. And I'm not defined by the best, cooler that I have or the best gear or whatever. I'm defined by my spirit and my body and my presence and my creation and just me existing. And I've really just had to like be that like embodied self, because like when you can't find a job, like what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with the rest of your day when you've applied to so many jobs and you're getting rejected? Like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna fucking like rot? Or are you gonna fucking pick your feet up and start a new art project, or go outside and go on a walk, or start a new habit, or clean, or whatever? Like, you can't just like be depressed about it and like not do anything because you have no money. You can't just sit around and be like, oh, woe is me. Like, no, you have to live your life. Life is still gonna go by. And it's like the journey doesn't end when I get a job. The journey like is still going. I need to implement my spirit into the materialistic world and keep it, instead of trading it in, instead of trading it in for my time and my energy into this job. I need to keep my spirit while I'm even working in the job. My whole thing, going down this spiritual journey is like trying to find a way to be spiritual while I'm having to do mundane things, because we're all going to have to do mundane things, and we're all going to have to, all of us are going to have time where we meditate, we feel on top of the world, and then something hits and we have to deal with like a mess or a fight or whatever. And you can't just like lose all of the growth that you had. You just have to implement it into whatever situation you're in. And that's what I'm really focusing on right now and thinking about, on like how I can implement the lessons that I've learned and the person that I've gotten to know over the past year being unemployed, and like who I am outside of it all. And my goal for going into this job is to be present even when I'm like clocked in, to be intentional, and to be there for myself, be in my body when I'm working, because I have this bad habit of abandoning myself when I'm working and leaving myself and going numb and like dissociating because I'm working, and I feel like that's totally normal. But you're basically like robbing yourself of the time that you had. And even though like you're trading it in for money, you still are able to be present during those moments, even if they suck. Like, even if you're working a hard job and you're bored or you're annoyed or you're tired, I still feel like those are moments where you can be there for yourself and you can be on your side. If you're just like checked out, then who's going to protect you if there's like, a customer that's pushing your boundaries or whatever? Like, you're not going to be there for yourself. Or who's going to be there to make a joke or have fun, even if you are working. And my goal is to bring this presentness and to bring this like raw Aubrey into the workforce, so I can get the most out of my time and my energy, and obviously get money so I can, get a new car and camping supplies and all that. But I don't want to see this as a bad thing. It's scary to have to work a normal job again. I personally would rather not, but I need money, and I just need to see it as a good thing, and I need to see the best of it. And everything is a teacher, and not everything in life is going to be ideal, and that doesn't mean it's not part of the journey or it can't be spiritual. Anything can be spiritual if you let it. And I'm just going to let this be my teacher, and I'm going to let this be the stepping stone to get me where I want to go. And I'm not going to despair because I'm trading time, my precious time, in for money, because as of this past year, I've had all the time in the world, and that has been like the most amount of abundance I've ever felt, especially as an artist. I made so much art with all the time that I've had, and your time is precious, and it kind of sucks that we all have to trade our time in for money, but that's what it is, and I can't change it, and I'm gonna see the best of it, and I'm gonna take my ownership and my control over it, and it's not gonna control me, and I'm gonna get, a schedule going, and I'm gonna feel good about myself, and if I'm not, I'm gonna stick up for myself and communicate for myself, and it's not gonna drag me through the mud, and if it's treating me unfairly, then I have every right to leave. But hopefully it's not gonna treat me like shit, but I just feel like it's easy to despair, and it's because you don't trust yourself to be in control. It's like dog training. Like, your dog's gonna act out if it doesn't trust you to take care of it and to protect it in front of other dogs. My dog's been reactive. He's not reactive with all dogs, but if another dog will bark at him, then he starts getting aggressive and freaks out. And he's on a couple occasions tried to nibble at me because he's stressed out. And I looked it up, and it's because he didn't trust me to protect him in those moments, and I was getting scared and nervous, and he was picking up on that. And part of that, it just relates to us. There's an inner child in us that if we don't feel protected or safe, or our body or our vessel isn't going to be calm in situations where they really need us, then our inner child and our inner person is going to freak out and despair and get anxiety and get depressed and feel hopeless, because it's I don't trust myself to get me out of a situation that is unsafe. And I feel like there's a lot that can be learned about ourselves through our pets, and especially dog training. I don't know why, but it's very applicable to just real life. And if you're freaking out and stressed and you assume your dog's gonna freak out, it's gonna freak out. If you assume the worst, your dog's gonna pick up on that. But if you're calm and you're okay, I'm gonna give you a treat, you're not gonna bark, good boy, and we walk past the dog and he's good, then I didn't assume he was gonna freak out, and he picked up on that energy. And then we both kind of went through that in the best versions of ourselves, and I was calm and he was calm, and we both got the best out of that. And I feel like that's the same thing that can be said about our inner child and the person we are in control, the person in control, and then the person who's the emotional mess of raw emotions and inner child shit. That's kind of the same as a dog. Kind of. But I'm excited, and I hope this job doesn't stop me from doing my craft. Actually, I'm rewiring that sentence. I'm not going to let this job stop me from my craft and my art, even if I have to work double time. When I'm 30, I'm not going to be working an entry-level job. I'm going to be way more successful and abundant, and I just kind of have to walk the stepping stones and see how it goes and just follow it through. Right now, I'm 22 and I'm working as a barista to save up, to travel, and to live my dreams. And I'm still going to be present through that step. I'm not going to abandon myself until the end. Because if you keep pushing the finish line back, then you're never going to enjoy life. And, sooner or later you're going to be dead because the finish line kept getting pushed back. And you never stopped to just breathe and enjoy life, or go on a walk before work, or treat yourself, even if you're not the most ideal version of yourself. I feel like that's a scam. So I'm going to end this video. Wish me luck at my job, and I'll see you all next time.